If you aren't paying close attention, you might believe that humans are the cause of global warming.
As you know, one reason that we have the fires burning in Southern California is global warming.
All of us on this stage have talked about global warming.
I helped organize the first hearings on global warming.
Should you buy into that hype? The real story is that carbon dioxide makes up only a small portion of all greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere, about 4%, and the amount of carbon dioxide caused by human activity is even smaller, a minuscule amount that's barely enough to measure. So if humans account for such a small amount of greenhouse gases, where do the rest of the greenhouse gases come from? They occur naturally. Plain old water vapor makes up 90% of greenhouse gases, plus plant decay, breathing by animals and humans.
I'm breathing air.
Even volcano eruptions. So ask yourself, doesn't it seem a little silly to think that such a small amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere could warm temperatures to crisis levels on something as big as Earth? Yeah, you may be thinking, who cares? What's the big deal? Even if humans aren't causing global warming, wouldn't Earth be a better place to live if we put a cap on the amount of carbon dioxide we send into the atmosphere? Well, if by better place you mean huge increases in the price of gasoline, higher electricity prices, and skyrocketing unemployment, then yes, capping carbon dioxide emissions is just the thing. The Federal Energy Information Administration calculates that if the United States were to reduce carbon dioxide emissions by 70%, then gas prices would rise 145%. Electricity prices would rise 129%, and more than 4 million jobs would be lost, with average household income dropping by $7,000 every year. Remember, those numbers reflect a 70% reduction in emissions. A bill pending in Congress called the Waxman Markey bill requires the U.S. economy to reduce carbon dioxide emissions by 83%. But what about all those green jobs everyone keeps talking about, the ones that are supposed to be created in a green economy? Politicians like to talk about a 90% increase in the number of jobs in the green economy. But what the green lobby fails to mention is that 1 out of every 10 white-collar and blue-collar jobs would be lost as employers try to cope with rising energy costs by laying off workers. That would result in a net loss of millions of American jobs. Think of it this way. The government could hire people to throw stones through people's windows. More people would be hired to repair the windows. Sure, jobs would be created, but other jobs would have been destroyed because money that would have been spent on food, clothing, shelter, and other goods and services would have to be spent repairing broken windows instead. Some politicians want to reduce carbon dioxide emissions by putting a tax on carbon and making it too expensive to produce. That's a bad idea for everyone, regular everyday people and businesses alike. The key to prosperity is keeping energy costs low. Tell politicians and global warming alarmists to stay away from putting a new tax on carbon.